Take two. What's going on, you guys? My name is Megan, and this is This Fast Romance, where I talk to you about all the romance books that I've been reading. Specifically, all the romance books that I've read in the last 7 days. Okay, even more specifically, all the audiobooks I've listened to in the last 7 days, because I have only listened to audiobooks, unless you, I'm so sorry, unless you want to count these books that I got in the mail today, that are Christmas presents for the small children in my life. Specifically, this one is my very favorite, but we won't talk about that. I'll talk to you guys about all the audiobooks that I've listened to in the last 7 days, because I had a week break between classes. So I burned through some stuff. So the first book, I read this one on Monday the 30th of November. It's In the Holidays by Christina Lauren. Let me start by saying I love The Unhoneymooners. I think it is, of the two books I've read of Christina Lauren's, it is my favorite. However, this one was really good. This book is about May, which is, that's what my nephew calls me. My whole family's called me that my whole life. My nephew called me May. So this book has a little extra special place in my heart. And May and her family every year at Christmas go to her parents' friend's cabin. And this year they are leaving the cabin, and May made out with Theo, one of the parents' sons, one of her parents' friends' kids, and his older brother Andrew caught them making out. But May has been in love with Andrew her entire life and never made a move, never said anything. So they get this life-changing news. They're all really sad. They get in the car, they're going to the airport to fly back to where they live, and they get in a car accident. And when May wakes up, she's on the plane getting ready to relive the day. And she gets to change the whole timeline. Now here's my issue with this book. Number one, 4 out of 5. I loved Andrew. I have a weird obsession with a comedian named Theo. I should not put this on the internet. And so I was really rooting for May and Theo, and I really thought that's how this book would go. And I'm sad that it didn't. And I don't feel like that's very spoilery, because outside of them making out in the original timeline, it's not really talked about again. And because the only person that knows it happened is May. So, but I did love Andrew. He was very sweet. And I did struggle with the fact that she only went back like 3 times. Like she only relived it twice. So like she did the original timeline, got in a car accident, started the week over, made it like a day or 2 in, fell, jumped back, started over on the plane, flying to the cabin, and made it, she only did it like 2 or 3 times, 3 or 4 times, something like that. She didn't go many times. Made it through the whole week. Once she made it through the entire week, that timeline stuck. And then the epilogue, we got to know like what happened and where everybody was, and I did enjoy that. I do like it when books do that. So it was a solid 4 out of 5. It was a cute, very cute little Christmas story. I'm really glad Christina Lauren wrote that, because it was really sweet. And then on December 1st, I listened to Meet Cute by Helena Hunting. And what is Helena Hunting's other book? That's right, she wrote the Pucked series. I think I read a couple of the Pucked books a while ago. So I read Meet Cute. This one was really cute too. It lived up to its name. I love that the name was actually in the book at some point. I usually don't like that, but I appreciated it this time. Because I liked Dax a whole lot. This book followed Kaylin and Dax, and Kaylin was obsessed with this TV show. It was like in my life or on my life or all my life, or it was something along those lines. And Daxton was like the main guy on the show. She was a child actor. She ends up going to law school, and Daxton is part of her class. They call him Dax. And she ends up in the middle of his frisbee game with his friends, and she literally runs into him. And then about 20 minutes later, she goes to her first class and spills a coffee on the floor or knocks his coffee over or something like that. And they end up being friends. And she fangirls over him. Something happens in law school. I won't tell you what it is because it's kind of spoilery. Something happens in law school, and she decides that he's awful and never speaks to him again. Decides he screws her over. It comes out that he didn't. But several years later, she's working as a trust and estate attorney, and I'm a paralegal, so this was like, I enjoyed this. So she's working as a trust attorney. Dax and his parents come in to set up a trust fund for his little sister, Emmy. And about 6 months after they set it up, Dax's parents are tragically killed, and this book follows their romance. I gave it a 5 out of 5 originally. Oh, another big thing, Dax is fighting for custody of his sister, and they're kind of thrown together because Kaylin is the estate. Because she was the trust attorney, they have put her over the trust, so she is like a neutral third party to make sure that Emmy is taken care of and that her needs and looking out for her is like the main goal of everybody. So, I gave this book a 4 out of 5. Originally I gave it 5 out of 5, and then the more I sat and I thought about it, her reason for being so angry with Daxton for so long was stupid, and especially, she says it at some point, that this thing that happened did not change the course of her life. So, take that for what you will. Then I listened to Crime and Periodicals by Nora Everly. I love Penny Reid's Winston Brothers series. I love the Green Valley series. I'm currently working through Dr. Strangebeard, which is Roscoe's story. But I'm going to have to physically read it because listening to it is not working for me, which is weird. But this is a Green Valley like spin-off book, or Everly has written a book spinning off of it. It has Jackson, Cletus is in it, Jethro, Sienna, like all of your favorites, they're all in it. But this book specifically follows Wyatt and Sabrina has like really bad anxiety problems, and I don't recall, and they could have, and I just don't remember it. I don't recall them specifically saying what she has, but she does see a therapist. She has a medical diagnosis, or she has seen a therapist previously. So anyway, this book follows Wyatt and Sabrina, and Wyatt is so sweet. He gave Cletus a run for his money. I'm not gonna lie to you. Wyatt has 2 little girls. Sabrina's sister was tragically killed, or died in childbirth. She died in childbirth, and Sabrina is working to adopt her sister's 3 kids. Her youngest nephew is autistic. Her sister died giving birth to him. It was so sweet. 5 out of 5. Wyatt is not Cletus, but it was a cute book. And Sabrina is not Jen. Sabrina's really awkward. They're very similar in that way, but just the way that she goes from being so anxious about everything to being able to see and understand, like okay, like why he doesn't stand her up. Something comes up and he loses his phone. Something happens with one of his kids. It's nothing like dramatic, but he loses his phone. He can't contact her, and so she thinks she's been stood up for their first date. Everyone is so upset, and she's like, Lisa, no, that's not what has happened. I'm telling you that's not what's happened. And Wyatt shows up, and her niece produces Cletus's podcast. That's just all I ever needed to know. I now need a Cletus podcast. Can I get one? No. But then I listened to both of these books in the same day because they were novellas. I listened to Kissing Tolstoy by Penny Reid. I'm so sorry, Penny Reid. This book was garbage. I hated this book. This is the first book in a series called like Dear Professor or something. Anna is the girl. She accidentally goes on a blind date with this guy. And I say accidentally because she was supposed to go on a blind date with another guy, but she misspelled his email. And so the wrong person shows up. She goes on a blind date with him. He ends up being her Russian lit professor. And I loved Penny Reid, and Anna was supposed to be so smart. But the way, I don't want to say the way she spoke, but the way Anna was written was like common. Common sounds bad. Anna spoke like I'm speaking. Like she spoke normally. Whereas the professor, whose name I've already forgotten and is not really ever mentioned, just some of the stuff he said, I was like, what did you say? I have 2 bachelor's degrees and I'm working on a master's. What did you say? 2 out of 5. Sorry, Penny. This one was a no for me. But before she feels bad, and before that makes me sound bad because I love Penny Reid, I listened to Dirty Girl by Meghan March. No. Just no. I put on here that it was a 2 out of 5. It's only a 2. Because it was steamy. This book followed Greer. She catches her boyfriend cheating on her. She makes some kind of ad. And I never really caught the whole gist of the ad. But somehow it triggers a guy named Cav to show up. Who she dated a long time ago. He shows up. And they like immediately go at it. Susie shows up at the door. She hadn't seen him in 6 years. Ripped my clothes off from the front door. I don't know. Her brother is like this tech millionaire or something, and he's like, you're ruining the company, you're ruining this, you're ruining that, you're going to police. So he sends them both to police, and they just have a lot of sex. I don't know. It's kind of dumb. It ended on a cliffhanger, but not bad enough that I wanted to see how it ended. Like, the cliffhanger did not inspire me to continue on, so. And then on Saturday, my beautiful people, I listened to Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey while I cleaned out my closet. You can't see that it's been cleaned out because the doors are shut, but it has been cleaned out and rearranged and all my drawers are full again. So I hadn't done it in a while. Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. This is book 3 in the Hot and Hammered series. I actually read book 1 over the summer because it was Brother's Best Friend. I read book 2 and I didn't want to and ended up loving Rosie and Dominic. Oh my god, book 1 is Travis and Georgie, book 2 is Rosie and Dominic. This is Bethany and Wes. I struggled a little bit. It's my brother's name is Wes. But Wes is so sweet, and he was just pushing every button she had, and they fell in love, and Bethany decides she's going to leave Brick and Morty, which is her family company. Her brother runs it. She's going to leave it. Wes goes with her, and they end up on a design show pitted against her brother. And just the book, the character development and the change in Bethany. You follow her for these 3 books, through 2.5 books essentially, and then in this book she falls in love with Wes's niece in like a motherly way, not in a creepy way. But oh my god, it was so sweet. And I normally don't say this, but I'm glad this is the end of the series because I think that I would have just never, I would have never read the next book if it had anything to do with the sister-in-law, because I cannot stand her. And I know you're not supposed to, but I have a fantastic sister-in-law. And her sister-in-law in this book just drove me crazy. So, that was a no. The sister-in-law was a no. The book is a yes, 5 out of 5. I loved it. I think that I liked 2, 3, and then 1. And I thought I would like Georgie's book the best. And maybe if I went back and reread it, I would feel differently and I would love 1 again. But Rosie and Dominic ended up being my favorite. And last but not least, I read this on Monday. I read this past Monday, or I listened to this past Monday. Bitter Rivals by Dre Sterling. I put a note on here. Let me just read you my note. I read this on Monday. I wrote this on Tuesday, and I forgot their names. That's how much I just wanted something to listen to get my brain off, to like focus portion of my brain. I have to have something going to focus, and so it's usually a book or a podcast or something, and or it has to be music that I love, like John Mayer is my favorite artist. So like this was dumb, and I literally just let it play. It was dumb. It was kind of like Romeo and Juliet almost, like they both own, their families owned vineyards, and we're going to end on the book that I read, or that I listened to on Monday, which was bittersweet. I literally just said it is bittersweet. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. It is always open. Find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram. It is This Past Romance. Everywhere. I'd love to talk to you. Super awkward. Just know that out the gate. Any links to anything, my iPad. That's not my, it's still not my iPad, but this is my iPad case. Not the case. But if you want to know about the case, it's from Amazon. Let me know. I'll link it to you. Also, all my social media is down below. Leave a comment, subscribe. The button is down here somewhere. I'll link all of the books that I talked about, and tell you likely where I list them. It's probably Scribd. My Scribd link is down below if you want to check that out. Get 60 days free, and I get a month free. Full disclosure, I get a free month, you get 2 free months. So if you want to do that, the link is down below. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Bye.